Hi, this is Phil Sykes with the RICO Learning Institute. This short video nugget involves the steps that are necessary to load the CAC PIV onto an MFP using our remote operation client. Prior to launching the remote operation client, I have set some minimum settings on the MFP to support my local CAC environment, and these might change a little bit based on where you're going to be installing it. In my particular instance, the time and date and time zone on the MFP is set to the same as the server that's going to provide my Kerberos authentication. DNS is set to specify, and a loopback of 127001 is loaded into the DNS server list on the MFP itself. At this point, no others are required. In some environments, you may still need, after the loopback, an outside DNS server that for something like LDAP, if that's necessary. You leave the domain in the MFP blank. You build a device certificate, and I usually set the duration to 5 or 10 years, but depending on where you're installing it, that's up to their policy, local policy. I've got Java up and at the correct version, verified that 3 DES data encryption services at 168-bit is selected. That can be WIM or on the, it is default. All right. And then heap and stack in Java settings is set to about 60% of full, or in this particular case, 32 and 384 bits. With that done, I have opened up the ROC. And under File, I've added the MFP by the IP address. It is set at this point to admin with no password. That's the default for the RICO equipment. I have not changed my administrator password for the machine, so I'm leaving it. But if you have, if your customer has, you would have to put the proper admin name and password. Once it's added, okay, excuse me, get rid of that. Once it's added, you can come up to File and hit Initialize. When you hit Initialize, it will go out and make contact with the machine. This takes a couple of minutes, but it's worth verifying. It'll give you the Java version. It'll make sure that you have a good connection to the MFP before you begin to start. So it should take just a minute to initialize. I'll pause this for just a second and then get back when it's finished. And there we are. It has initialized. You can see that my Java is up to date and the machine serial number is listed, the MFP, the type of machine that I'm putting this on, and our IP address all verified. Now installing the CAC, you choose CAC, you choose the latest on the list. Now this all comes on the ROC client, the remote operation client, ready to go. So keep your remote operation client up to date, and you should always be able to support your product. I'll say open to that. If my Java were older, I might click the button that says update. And if I did not know what the version was for some reason, or I was concerned, I could also click the button that says prevent downgrade, and that way it would only bring the Java up to date if it needed to. I'm not going to use any other choices as far as this install goes. I'm just going to choose install from the action list and the run command. You can see it goes out. I'm going to pull this up a little bit so you can see that you have a progress, something that lets you know that it's working, and then it'll begin updating. I'm going to watch it for just a minute. I want to see some gray start to form in this progress bar under the status tab. And then I'll pause it for about 25 minutes on the tape, and we can see the result. Yep, there it goes. We've got a little progress. So I'm going to pause the recording, and we're just going to let this run for about 25 minutes. The machine will reboot 2 or 3 times depending on whether you did the Java update or not. It will reboot in between Java updates and some other progress as it goes, and then we'll proceed. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so at this point in time, you'll look and see our status is set with just a dash. If there were any problems, it would have said error, and at this point we are finished loading the actual CAC software on the MFP, and in our next video segment we will configure the MFP software for our common access card or personal identification verification. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Phil Sykes, RICO Learning Institute, and hope everything goes real well in your support of this very important product.